one of my most treasured books, and one that I go back to again and again, was written in the 1870s, and it's called Japanese Homes and Their Surroundings. Um, some of you have seen the little sheds and outbuildings that I build, and they are. I would never even start to build one of those without going to that book first, and just looking at it, looking at the drawings and reading about the different types of features of a Japanese home in the Meiji era and Edo era before that. This is my screen room. It's got Japanese design elements and Celtic design elements. Originally, I was going to have this as the waiting area outside a Japanese tea house, but I decided to make something a little more practical than a screened-in little house. This is my woodshed, and the doors of this woodshed are based upon the doors of a warehouse I saw in Japan years ago. These are the arts of the tea ceremony. In the first half of the ceremony, the focus is on the scroll on the wall. Meditate upon its meaning. And that scroll is chosen by the tea master to reflect the season or the theme of this particular tea ceremony. And the second half is focused on the vase of flowers. Cut flowers, and again chosen by the tea master, very specifically chosen for the season or the theme of the party. This is the hot water container, and that would be used to make the tea. It's a green tea, it's matcha powder, incredibly bitter. Oh my God. You can really, it's not like sitting down and having a nice cuppa. Now this ceramic bowl or jar would have been kept beside the host. This would be to rinse out the bowls or refill water. You see it's not quite, a little off kilter there, and that's on purpose. It's the concept of imperfect beauty, asymmetry. This is a bowl to hold the tea. And apparently this particular bowl is famous amongst tea masters all through Japan. And it embodies the concept of wabi, finding beauty in simplicity and imperfection. These are the containers for the matcha, the powdered tea. I went to a place called the Edo Open Air Museum, and it was a collection of Edo era and Meiji era houses. And I will probably do a video on those, but they're beautiful houses, but they're big, big samurai houses or farmhouses, 2 stories. But today, behind the Tokyo National Museum, I found a collection of tea houses. And this is my style. See, that's called a rain chain. Saw these years ago and fell in love with it. See the gutter, it's full of leaves, but then ends here and the rain just drips down this chain. Look how they did the posts. See, they carve out the bottom of the wood to match the stone. More rain chains here. Hear the sound of the crows I was warned about. Oh, look at this roof. It does make me wonder, really, why am I just so primally attracted to Japanese architecture and Japanese art and Japanese aesthetics and Japanese everything? Oh, really, it's a past life, many, many lives. It just, as the first time I saw it, you know, when I was a kid, my grandmother, God knows where she would have found these. She had little figurines of Japanese women in kimonos, and she had this treasured blue and white patterns on these dishes. I believe it was a Chinese, famous Chinese design, but she had Japanese scrolls. Where in the world would she have found those in Milton, New Hampshire? But you know, maybe that's where it came from. But somehow, oh, yeah, breathtaking. This is a classic entrance to a tea ceremony. See the small door there? You go inside that room. There's a tatami room there. That's where the ceremony is held. Tatami means the bamboo mats. So this is where the guests would come and you sit here and wait. Oh, here's a tatami mat. Here. So the guests come in, sit there. Just want to recreate them all. I know that may sound so strange, but all I want to do is build. When I see these things, I just want my hammer and an endless supply of wood and let me go. Really. I wanted to tell you about a tea ceremony that I attended years ago. I was with Mrs. Takeda and Okasan, which is Japanese for mother, Tad's mother, Mrs. Fukunaga. And with Tad, we were at an onsen at a hot spring resort. Here we are in our room wearing our kimonos. I found out that Mrs. Takeda was a master, a tea ceremony master, which is super impressive because it takes years of study and years of practice before you're considered a master. This is not something you just go in and brew up a pot of tea and have people over with crumpets and biscuits. No. So I showed you the tea house here with a little entrance, and you go. It's a whole ritualized sort of Zen meditation practice. So when I found out Mrs. Takeda was a master, I was asking how I could go to a ceremony, and I don't remember the reason I couldn't go to one, a real one, because maybe the one wasn't one around her. She wasn't from where we were. Maybe she had to be at her home territory. Anyway, she very graciously decided to recreate a tea ceremony in the living room at Tad's, it must have been his, I guess his brother's house. And Mrs. Takeda's husband, Mr. Takeda, was there. And the grandchildren, Hisashi, Satoshi, Machiko, and me, Dad, his whole family. So she, using plastic utensils and Tupperware. She did have some matcha. I don't know if she bought it herself or if she bought it somewhere, but it's this green powder, and you whisk it up in a bowl. And she had a Tupperware bowl, and she's whisking it up, and it's extremely bitter. But she went through this whole thing, and she did it really seriously. There was no fooling around. The kids were giggling, and at one point, Mr. Takeda, we were supposed to close our eyes for some meditation, I believe, and maybe an opening prayer. And Mr. Takeda saw me, and he goes, "Close your big eyes." kept accusing me of having big eyes. And it was so touching, because especially I still can remember her being so serious about it. There was no laughing. She wasn't about to make fun of her, make light of her skills. And it was very impressive. And I'll always be grateful to Mrs. Takeda for giving me that opportunity.